Hey, gang. Hope you're all doing well. Yeah. The week Friday, Yankees just finished their game against the Toronto Blue Jays. Blue Jays took it 2-1, but there are some bright spots here. And I've got a special guest joining me in a few minutes, Hillel from Backstage Baseball, and a new part of the partnership with the Rookies Media. Him and his partner in crime, Eddie, going to be formulating one of the more diverse young podcasters, young YouTubers group of Yankee fans and Met fans to give their perspectives. And again, I always like encouraging. I always like supporting the youngsters as they come up. And Stephen B, what's good? Alviso, what's good? Yeah, we'll talk about that too. Jake Boss. So, I'm going to box score this as well. Okay. And I'm going to have to read it from the app because, I'll share this right now, which is crazy. But if you look at the box score, it looks like nobody got hits at anything, right? There's nothing. No hits, nothing. But the pitching box score is accurate. So Marcus Stroman had 4 no-hit innings pitched, okay, which is good. He looks good. Marcus Stroman looks really, really good. He's got 0.000 ERA the entire spring. So that's fantastic. It really, really is. Then we got Cody Poteet with 2 innings pitched, 1 hit, 1 strikeout. Clay Holmes had a clean innings pitch too, 1 inning, 1 strikeout. Yerry De Los Santos keeps getting roughed up. He's having trouble. He's struggling this spring. He really, really is. 0.2 innings pitched, 2 hits, 2 runs, 1 strikeout, 1 walk. His ERA is 27. So, and Jeffrey Gilbert was out there too, 1 1/3, and just 2 pitches. So he was in and out of there. But now offensive box score, and I'm going to read this out to you here. Let me get this off the screen because the offensive box score is non-existent according to this. But on here, DJ LeMahieu, 2 for 2. He had a better day today. He's showing his timing's coming around offensively. So, dang, what's happening? Ronald, dang, what is good, everybody? Shout out to all of you. Shout out, hit them like buttons, gang, if you don't mind. Smash those thumbs up. It's greatly appreciated. We're going to try to get to 100 as quickly as we can. Okay? Hillel and his partner in crime, Eddie, might join us too. So, we'll see. And then Jordan Groshans came in as 0 for 1. He's back with the team. And again, keep in mind, and I'm going to ask these guys this too, like the Yankees are looking to add probably 2 bench spots. They're clearly looking to add 1. And it sounds, according to reporting today, it sounds like they might be trying to add a utility player. So, because they're struggling with Oswaldo Cabrera, unfortunately. So, somebody who can play the infield and the outfield would likely be a fit. And something like Jordan Groshans or like Jahmai Jones, who they got the other last week. They optioned out Groshans to claim Jahmai Jones, and now they brought Groshans cleared waivers, and now he's back, and he played today. So Juan Soto had a rough day today, but he's still batting .583 for the spring. He's over 3 breakouts. Spencer Jones came in, he's 0 for 1. He's also batting .467, so he's taking good steps in his development. Diver JC, what's good? Aaron Judge looks tough. He's not that great right now. He's 0 for 3, batting .222 with a K. But again, these guys, we don't need them to have hot springs. We need them to be healthy and productive during the season. And I think they will. And then Augusto Ramirez came in after Aaron Judge, 0 for 1. Anthony Rizzo was 1 for 3. He's batting .500 this spring. Encouraging sign. He looks healthy. He looks focused. So that's what matters the most. TJ Rumfeld came in. He was 0 for 1. Gleyber Torres is 0 for 3, but he's batting .313 this spring. And Elijah Dunne came in as 0 for 1 after him. Alex Verdugo is 0 for 2 with a walk. He's putting the ball in play. Not really striking out that much. He's putting the ball in play. It's just finding gloves. So, and Gary Anderson came in for Alex Verdugo, and he was 0 for 1. Trent Grisham was 1 for 2. He's batting .250. Got a walk and a strikeout as well. Grisham, I think, is going to be a sneaky good addition to the Yankees team. Coles, Benjamin Cowles. He was 0 for 1 as a pinch hitter. And Kevin Smith came in. He was 1 for 2. He played shortstop. And Jeter Downs was 0 for 1. Ben Warford 0 for 2. And Luis Torrens was 0 for 0, but he's batting .500 this spring. And Ben Warford's batting .300 this spring. So we have some guys actually putting some stuff together here. And for those that haven't heard, the Toronto Blue Jays signed Joey Votto today. So adding to that first baseman, adding to that offensive repertoire. He's 40, but he can still put the ball in the place. So, and he's an upgrade over Daniel Vogelback at first base. Vogelback's actually decent, but he's a future Hall of Famer. I'd be surprised if he doesn't go and get into the Hall of Fame. So, but they added him on a minor league deal, so he's not on the 40-man just yet. So we'll see what they do there. And Yankees aren't that bad this spring. And again, if PSY Clef's like, we don't need them to all be putting it together right now. Okay, let them get their lumps. Let them work on some kinks right now. They got some guys that are changing their batting stances, and their pitching is better than their hitting. Okay, we got number one guest over here, my man Hillel from the Rookies Media is in the house. What's up, my man? Can you hear me?
Hey, can you hear me?
There he is. There he is. We were just talking
How we
about him.
doing?
Doing well, man. And Hillel's he's out in Florida for spring training. Okay, and his partner in crime, Eddie, if he comes on later, Hillel gives us the Yankee take. Eddie gives us the Met take. Okay, and I said, like, it's very important to support the young YouTubers and young podcasters, young content creators, in the next wave of great people that can be coming in. And we have two of the great youngsters here. Okay, and I really like what you're doing. I really enjoy you guys. And what are your thoughts about what's going on in the spring training right now? How do you feel about the Yankees?
All right, so first of all, thank you so much. Obviously, yeah, it's super cool. Really excited to be down here in spring training. Get a nice break from school. But when it comes to spring training right now, there's so much that goes to it. There's the fun aspect for the fans. Like even we were talking about it recently on one of our podcasts. It's like the vibes, the weather here. It's beautiful outside right now. It's just something to just like enjoy that you don't get, especially as a New York fan during the baseball season. Majority of the weather, especially towards the end of the season, isn't great. So it's something just the vibes. Players definitely enjoy having a little bit more fun, laid back. It feels like a little bit more fun. So yeah, that's definitely something when it comes to spring training, specifically to the Yankees. Obviously, Marcus Stroman had a great outing today. That's something that everyone loves to see. But when it comes to that, yeah, I'm really excited to get some spring training action in.
The Yankees starting pitchers are quietly kind of putting their spring together. Quietly, Rodon's been quietly putting stuff together. The thing with me, at least, with Rodon and Nestor Cortez, I'm more concerned about these guys coming through their starts healthy and feeling good the next day and being ready to go for the season itself.
Yeah.
Neither one of them is ready to go for the season. So if they're both ready and Stroman, Cole's going to do his thing. I'm confident with Clark Schmidt. I think we're going to be okay. So obviously, with the chunk of the rotation, we need them to be healthy. We really, really do.
Yeah.
And and to me, and I want to know what your thoughts are, but like two most important things right now looks like is the Yankees finalizing maybe the last one or two spots in the bullpen and finalizing the last one or two spots on the bench. So, because I don't think Oswald Peraza is going to be on the bench. I don't think it makes any sense to have him on the bench. He needs to play every day, so I'd rather have him in AAA playing every day. And he's obviously having some shoulder issues right now, so he went sent for imaging today, an MRI. So we'll see what happens. But with that said, he needs to play every day, right?
Yeah, it's so interesting the way that the Yankees treat some of these prospects. Like this is a particular thing with the Yankees that I definitely don't agree on. They definitely need to do a better job when it comes to guys like Oswald Peraza, a guy like what's his name, Estevan Florial. Last year, he was a guy that really bothered me. They really didn't give him the treatment that he deserved to have. He was a top prospect. You got to make a move. You got to commit one side, one way or the other. You're going to trade the guy, get some value for him when he has the value, or you're going to play him. You can't go somewhere in the middle because then you don't get either way. You don't get the aspect of he's going to give us production because you're using him in AAA. We don't need a championship in AAA. That's not what the Yankees' goal is. Like, are you asking to win the championship in double or AAA? No. Our goal is to win a championship at the major league level. So if it's the pieces that are going to help that. So when it comes to Peraza and the bench pieces in general, it's very important because health is something that even the bullpen as well can tie back into. Everyone gets injured. And we don't need a guy like, I'll tie back to last season. Willie Calhoun was batting cleanup for a solid amount of the season. That can't happen. That just can't happen this season. And it's something they need to have guys that are options if that happens.
And this is the first time in a while the Yankees have had depth, right? So that if the major league starters are either hurt or need a day, they have guys who can credibly come in. Like last year, we had Calhoun, Franchi Cordero, Billy McKinney, and Jake Bowers. Nothing against those guys, but now we've got Trent Grisham, Alex Verdugo. We've got a much better bench, which we're still looking to fill out, but a much better backups as well. Trent Grisham's a better fourth outfielder than any of those guys. Okay.
Yeah.
And Yorbit Diva, I don't know if he make it either. I think he should play every day as well in AAA. I do think he's probably going to replace Gleyber Torres after the season. But for a guy like that, if you're going to replace him, you have to play every day. We need him to be productive. We're just like Oswald Peraza. We said that we need him to be productive because if let's just say Rizzo goes down or DJ goes down, you need an infielder that's going to be healthy to call up to replace them. Peraza, one
100%.
of the best infielders defensively that we have in the whole entire system.
Yeah.
So, and we need him to play every day to get everyday reps because when he doesn't play every day, he's not very good here. So, and I'd rather have him getting reps. And again, like to Andrew Yank's question here, if Torres exceeds expectations, I don't know if it's gonna. I don't know. I think there's too much infield depth here that they're probably gonna let him walk.
Yeah.
And they'll give him a qualifying offer, let him get 2 draft picks and get international money, and let him walk. He's probably if he has a good year, he's probably gonna make 25 million. He'll probably get maybe a Marcus Stroman type deal. He's younger than Marcus Stroman was, so. And then if Alex Verdugo has a good year, they might qualifying offer him and let him walk as well. So they could get 4 draft picks and a $2 million extra dollars in international money. And the Yankees are already kind of tied to the next top international free agents over the next 2 or 3 years. So I don't see them personally, and I don't know if you agree here, but I don't see them signing players attached to qualifying offers for the next year or two because they're going to lose what they're trying to gain, especially internationally. So like next year, if the Orioles don't sign Corbin Burns to an extension, he's going to get a qualifying offer. So, are the Yankees going to do that? I don't know. I really don't know, man. This is a chance for them to recoup international money, recoup draft picks.
Yeah,
So,
specifically when it comes to Torres, I think it's something that he's a guy that when Torres is at his best, he's undoubtedly a fan favorite. Always, he's a guy that everyone loves. You see it all over social media. But the question is, if we want to go out and get Soto, we want to keep handing out these contracts, you're not going to be able to make everyone happy. That's just something that everyone's going to have to realize. And whether that means Torres walks and does insane with LA, with Arizona, with Baltimore, with some other team, just something that we're going to have to accept. And if that means we go out and get Juan Soto, I'm fine with that. Torres has been solid, don't get me wrong, but he hasn't been worthy of trading the money that we would use for him to get Juan Soto. So I think that's just something that comes into account that everyone's going to have to realize because there's going to be guys that we're going to have to pass up on over the next decade or so if we want to get that Soto contract, if we want to get these bigger contract deals.
Yeah, 100%. And again, this is the opportunity for the Yankees to. They don't get these opportunities very often to recoup some guys. I mean, the last time they gave a qualifying. I think the last time they gave a qualifying offer to play was Nick Swisher. He declined it, signed with the Guardians, and the Yankees used that compensatory draft pick to draft Aaron Judge.
Yeah.
So, and the Yankees do a pretty good job now at drafting, no matter where they're at, 2nd round, 7th round, 12th round, or whatever. A lot of their good prospects, with the exception of Spencer Jones and a few others, were drafted in the later rounds.
Yeah.
So they're doing a heck of a lot better job at developing players and drafting and all that stuff. So I'm confident when it comes to that. But in terms of this team right now, there's still some, I could see, meaning Ian Hamilton's obviously. I think this year's version of Ian Hamilton might be Nick Birdie. So hard throwing righty reliever. He's throwing darts in the spring. He's getting guys out, and he looks really good. So, and maybe Clayton Beater. So, Will Warren, I think, is a candidate for the 5th spot, but I don't think they're going to call him up before May 15th. That's the deadline to get an additional year of service time. So I could see them waiting to call up Will Warren until then or something like that to get that year of service time for him. Beater, on the other hand, he might be more serviceable in the bullpen. He could spot start. He could do a lot of things. So what's your take on that? What do you think about these little pieces?
So specifically Clayton Beater, I'd start with he's a guy that looks great. Seeing him down in Somerset, he looked awesome.
Big arm.
He's a guy that I think take it a little slow with him. Use him if he becomes somebody that's necessary to use, along with Will Warren. I think our rotation, I think we have Clark Schmidt's the 5, right? Schmidt's slotted in as the 5 starter right now. Yeah. So I say you start the season like that. See where it takes you. If there's an injury that comes in, use these guys. But then don't come in and treat them like don't mess up the opportunity is what I'm trying to say. So if you're going to bring them up, keep them up. Let them go over their struggles. That's something that I use Anthony Volpe as a great example. He wasn't great last year. Any way you want to cut it. If you want to make it like sweeten it up a little bit, okay, you can say stolen bases and a bunch of home runs. He wasn't what people expected him to be. The hype was too high, realistically. But when it comes to these guys, you're just going to have to suck up the growing pain that comes with it.
Yeah. And this is like they saw the growing pains with Anthony Volpe last year because they let him play the whole entire year. So we saw what he needed to work on. And again, Yankees were in a little bit of a different situation. It was too many injuries. They had any credible backup. So he put a lot of pressure on himself to feel like he has to do more. And that changed his swing angles. That changed, the way he carried himself at the plate, the way his approach. So, he was less effective at times. So he got a Gold Glove, and he was a 2020 guy. And I'm happy that happened. Very happy. And he's got a swing approach now, more level swing, as does Giancarlo Stanton. So working with James Roaston, he's changing their hitting approach. So, but the fact that they have such a deeper lineup now, they don't have to do that. Volpe doesn't have to carry the part of the lineup for the rest of these guys, which I think puts Yankees in a good spot. But they have to be healthy. They really, really have to be healthy, and that's the key. So, and a lot of it, Volpe, did get hype. He also beat out Oswald Peraza for the shortstop job. So he beat him out. Now, at this point, I talked about this before. I always thought the better fit would have been Oswald Peraza at short and Volpe at second. But now we've got Roderick Arias, apparently he's got a better glove than Oswald Peraza does. So maybe at this point he goes to short, and Volpe goes to second then, and George Lombard goes to third.
Interesting.
A highly touted Yankee prospect, and Yankees will be surrounded by young guys all around the infield. So that could happen maybe over the next 2 years. I don't know, but the Yankees still have DJ for 3 more years. So, and again, we need these veterans to be healthy because they're setting the tone for a lot of these young guys. And
DJ is a guy that this season I think will define what the rest of his career is going to look like.
I would agree.
Whether it's going to be because we've had 2 years of solid DJ. I expect this year to be a good year from DJ. I don't expect him to have a 360 batting average. I'm expecting 280. That's something consistent at the top of the lineup. That's huge.
But a decent on-base percentage, and
for sure.
If you're batting seventh or whether you're batting leadoff, if you get on base, you're giving other guys an opportunity to drive you in.
Yep.
So, and the Yankees are deeper everywhere. They'll be deeper at the bottom of the lineup. They'll be deeper at the top of the lineup. So it's important for DJ to be healthy and get on base, just like Verdugo. We need him to be healthy and get on base, whether it's walking or hitting doubles. I don't care which either one it is. So if they're getting on base, they're giving the Sotos of the world, the Judges, the Rizzos, the Torres a chance to drive them in on a more regular basis. That to me is where the Yankees definitely, where I hope that they're at this year.
Yeah.
So, and it's just, and look, what do you think about this too, by the way? I wanted to ask you, because someone's talked by Met fans. So I'm going to ask Eddie too, like so many Met fans are saying, oh, don't worry, the Mets are going to sign Juan Soto at the end.
Okay, yeah, I can't do it with all this.
It's comical.
To me, if Eddie hops on here, I'm gonna rip him up for this because we haven't talked about this live on his show yet. But to me, it's just like wishful thinking.
I can't see Soto like saying, "Nah, I don't want to play with Judge. I'd rather play with Jeff McNeil."
Yeah, but it's like I hear people bring it up next offseason. Like, relax yourself a little bit.
Let him play here now. Let him have his way with the Yankees right now. Let him become a partner in crime with Aaron Judge.
There's nothing that's showing me that the Mets are ready to put a winning team on the field yet.
No, I mean
once they do that, then maybe, but they're just not there yet.
Scherzer's gone. Verlander's gone. Kodai Senga is hurt. I don't even know who's in their rotation beyond those guys, to be honest with you. So they need pitchers. They need a lot of them. So, and I think priority number one for them is re-signing Pete Alonso.
Yeah,
he's their franchise. So
he for sure is the priority.
It's crazy, but a lot of fans think Baltimore's looking good. They're looking good, but again, it's spring. Right. It's spring. It's like we talked about the Atlanta Braves. They were favored to win everything last year, and they fell apart in the playoffs, just like the Dodgers did. So the Mets didn't even make the playoffs, and they were like World Series favorites. So looking good in the spring is one thing, but they've got to stay healthy and put it together during the season.
Dropping the spring training aspect Baltimore Orioles in general, if I had to be putting money on a team right now to win the AL East, I'm picking the Orioles.
The Orioles look good. They added Burns to that our lineup. They got Jackson Holiday they want to put up at some point. So, are they going to be last year? Probably. But, are the Yankees going to be better? Yeah. Yeah, the Red Sox, I don't know. The Rays, I don't know. The Blue Jays, maybe a little bit. But, the Yankees they're not going to just sit down and let the Orioles take the division. It's like they're not going to sit down and let the Dodgers win the World Series. Just like the Diamondbacks are not going to sit down and hand it to the Dodgers or the Giants. They're not going to sit down and hand it to the Dodgers. So it's the AL East and the NL West. I think it's going to be a blood fight on those divisions. Those some teams. It's going to be fascinating to watch. But, the Orioles are good. There's no doubt about it. And they got the number one farm in baseball, so they can do whatever they want to. Dylan Cease tomorrow, they could do that.
Yeah, they definitely have that. They definitely have that potential. I love the young teams. The young teams is something that excites me a lot.
Yep.
Having those teams not just being sleepy and doing nothing, it's something that's super exciting to have these teams doing well.
Again, they do have issues with a couple of their starters, the Orioles. So do the San Francisco Giants. So, would I be surprised if the Giants signed Blake Snell? No. Or Montgomery? No. Because they're losing one of their starters to Tommy John. Orioles, Craig Kimbrell's replacing their closer who had Tommy John. So, there's still some things that Orioles can do to improve, But speaking of Snell, Snell's not signed. Montgomery's not signed. J.D. Martinez not signed. What is going on with these Scott Boras clients?
Yeah, exactly. It's something that we discussed recently. It's
what's going on?
The question is it good or is it bad?
Well, I think it's terrible for the pitchers. Only have 20 days right now to be ready for spring training. That's not enough. So they're either going to have an abbreviated spring training, or if they get a full spring training, an abbreviated season. So one way or another, they're having to choose two bad options. So, and Scott Boras doesn't want to hear that. He wants them to be paid a full season and everything. And, Blake Snell already, to me, he's turned down 2 offers by the Yankees already. They're the only teams that give an offer. So I've moved on from Snell. I have a lot of folks keep saying, well, the Yankees should just suck it up and sign Snell. I'm like, suck it up. They've given him 2 offers. He said no. So I feel like Snell and Boras let the Yankees fall through the cracks, not the other way around. I don't think Cashman or Hal, they've done everything they could have done. So Montgomery, he's the one that I find a little bit more curious because he's not – number one, he's not going to cost as much as Montgomery. As much as Snell. 2, he's not tied to the draft picks or international money because there's no qualifying offer there. So, but that said, he still has an abbreviated spring too. But he's got Yankees ties. His wife is doing her medical at Harvard Medicine right now, so his residency at Harvard Medical. So I know the Red Sox there were talks about the Red Sox wanting to sign him. He had a Zoom with them a month ago, but still haven't signed.
Yeah.
So I don't know what is going on, why these guys are signed. J.D. Martinez baffles me why he's not signed yet. Crazy.
If I had to make a prediction when it comes to specifically Jordan Montgomery, I'm going to say that there's an injury going on there.
Injury?
Yeah, because we've heard the talk about Snell. We know that there's negotiations. Specifically Jordan Montgomery, there's just not enough heat around it.
Yeah.
Which means they're trying to keep it quiet for some reason. And if I had to say, I'd assume that there's some injury that they're trying to figure out.
They could. You might be right. I did hear him express frustration the other day about not being signed yet. So, but these guys are still riding with Scott Boras. So, do I think Montgomery would get paid with any agent? Yes. Snell, yes, with any agent. So, Scott Boras likes to ride these things out, but he's doing them a disservice, in my opinion. Pitchers need time to build their pitch counts.
I heard the teams in on Blake Snell only have gone up since. So I guess I guess Scott Boras is doing a good job if this is his goal.
He's waiting for injuries, and Boston just lost Lucas Giolito,
and the Mets also Kodai
Senga, yeah. So maybe he's going to parlay or take advantage of that injury situation. Maybe he's going to try and do that, but I don't think a team's going to desperately overpay for him at this point because he doesn't have enough time to prepare for the season. So puts him at an injury risk, in my opinion. Montgomery too. So
Well, I don't think they have any chance at being on the opening, like starting the season on the roster. I think is unrealistic for these
I,
guys.
I, I can't see it either. You're 100% right. And Justin, I don't think the Dodgers have a chance in Montgomery. No, I mean the LA Angels maybe from Snell. He's a West Coast guy. I could see that, or the
Uh-huh.
Mariners or the Giants. But like, I can't see the Dodgers. I mean, they brought in James Paxton. They brought in Yamamoto. They brought in. I mean, Otani's not going to be the pitch this year, but they
They have
traded
glass
for
now.
Glasnow. So they've already added 3 pitchers to their rotation.
Yeah.
Dodgers. So I can't see them in Montgomery. I'd be surprised. And they have Clayton Kershaw coming back in August. So he's coming off shoulder surgery. So they still have reinforcements. Yeah, they are losing Julio Urias, but I don't think. I think their heavy lifting is done.
What has been the decision on Julio Urias? I haven't seen anything about
Well,
that.
he had his cases. He was arrested a second time for domestic violence.
Yeah.
So it's being investigated by the Los Angeles District Attorney's office or whatever. So I think it's going to be in a similar situation than Trevor Bauer. Different different. Trevor Bauer wasn't found guilty of domestic violence. Urias was. So, but there's still going to be baggage tied to either one of them. So I can't see Bauer signing with a team on the minimum, even though he's offered to. I can't see anybody wanting to touch Urias, just like I can't see the Rays wanting to come back with Juan DeFranco at this point with his 13-year-old
I don't think
girlfriend.
Franco has any chance at coming back to them. I don't think MLB gives him the option to come back.
The problem with you, the thing that's so terrible is there is not a clause in baseball right now that allows the Rays to void his contract. They have to pay him for the next decade, even if he doesn't play for them, which is terrible.
Yeah. Well, when it comes to Trevor Bauer, I voiced my opinion on this. I think if I'm a low market team like the Angels or something, I would take it. I would do it. The risk is like it just brings so much PR to your team also. If I'm the Yankees, I wouldn't want to do that because you don't need that type of media. You have that already. If I'm the Angels, the Cubs, you want that.
You're dealing with a hornet's nest in New York. So like then they're going to ask Garrett Cole every day these questions about Trevor Bauer. It's just going to be like a 10-leg nightmare for the Yankees. So I would agree with you if he would sign the Angels, the Cubs, the Mariners, or something like that, like the Reds again, like a team like that would probably be better suited to have a guy like Bauer. But the baggage, I understand why teams aren't jumping on the offer to sign him at the minimum. There's too much baggage there.
Yeah.
So we get it, and this is another reason why the Yankees aren't signing him, and I don't blame them for not signing him. You don't want to bring that baggage here. He's a very polarizing player. I don't doubt his arm. He's got a big arm. He's a good pitcher. He's won a Cy Young here, but this makes it a lot more difficult situation to sign him, unfortunately. So that's a tough one. And again, it's this. Yeah, I mean, Joseph, I'm with you too. I'm glad we didn't spend $325 million on Yamamoto. I was not comfortable paying him more than Garrett Cole. Okay, and do I think he'll be solid? Yes, I know he's got a 9 ERA right now in spring training. He gave up 5 runs to the White Sox like 2 days ago. So he'll find his way. He's got to make adjustments to the majors. But I think we dodged a bullet with Yamamoto. And he didn't want to come here anyway. So this is what it is, right? So we'll see. I mean, Otani had to make the same adjustment as a pitcher, at least. I mean, as a hitter, he was always elite. So I think Yamamoto will adjust, but I don't see him being a sub-2 ERA career guy like he is in Japan. Can't see that. So and Shraggy's asking us here, should we be worried about the Yanks? I think they've lost in the last 6. I wouldn't be really worried about them. We're still, they're paring down their roster. They're not playing all their starters together. So there's still a lot more roster cuts that need to be made. There's still a lot more roster spots that need to be decided. So, they're not done yet. So just like Aaron Judge isn't really hitting, a lot of guys aren't really hitting either. So, it is what it is. It is what it is. Oh, Rivka, you got a fan. Well, Rivka, there we go. Yes, indeed.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, indeed. He's one of the young up and coming YouTubers in Yankee baseball minds that we need to listen to, we need to hear from. So his perspective is valuable. It's important. And his partner in crime, Medi, gives you the Mets side too. So like it's
Yeah.
a double whammy with these guys. It's a double whammy. So I'm happy to have Hillel. We've been collaborating for a couple of years now. So
Yeah.
I'm happy to do it with him. Very happy.
Yeah.
Jonathan, what's up, my man? And in terms of the Mets, like what would you say they need? I think they need a heck of a lot more than the Yankees do. So
Yeah.
I think they need more pitching, relievers. Their bats are okay, but I think the Yankees are in a better spot. I honestly don't even know what the Mets record is this spring. So I don't even know what the Yankees is this spring. Um, but I and Joseph, I don't think we're going to carry three. I honestly think, and they might trade Ben Rortvedt and like somebody like Ron Marinaccio to a team to get maybe a bench piece, something like that. I can't see them carrying three catchers on the 40-man. Not at least not with them. They might have three in the 40-man instead of five, but I can't see them carrying three in the dugout.
Yeah.
They'll definitely have one catcher on the bench. What do you think? What do you think about that, Hillel?
Yeah. I don't think. No, it's interesting. I'm curious to see where. It depends how the rookies like Austin Wells are doing this year. Obviously, Ben Rortvedt is a guy who's we're going to look into for
Mm-hmm.
sure. But going back to your other point about the Mets, I want to elaborate on that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Because for those who don't know, me and Eddie are actually going to be in the Mets clubhouse, dugout on the field on Sunday. So that's going to be super cool. So I got to be careful what I say, I guess, about bashing them. So I really think they're a team that's kind of in that rebuilding year. So they got to be smart with what they do with their prospects and everything. Building up Francisco Alvarez is huge. I definitely think we need starting pitching. That's undoubtedly. If they can get Jordan Montgomery, I think that could be a huge move for them.
Yeah, it could be. And again, like I think Steve Cohen, he learned some lessons from last year, spending a lot of money on players that didn't pan out. I think he's being more strategic this offseason. And as a finance guy, big time money guy, he's a smart move to do. And he'll learn. He'll be a little bit more, probably a little bit more strategic and aggressive next
Yeah.
offseason. So
Hmm.
they'll on guys who they feel is the right. Like the Yankees did this offseason. They didn't just go for the big names. They went for the best fits.
Yeah.
So,
Smart.
and I think it was smart by the Yankees. And I
Yeah.
think it was smart by the Mets to do that. Like, I do think Pete Alonso is one of the best fits for them. He's the franchise guy. I think he needs to come back.
Yeah.
Okay. And, as much as I like his talents, like, I would rather see Spencer Jones at first base than Pete Alonso in the Yankees. So, and even though Spencer Jones is an outfielder, they're giving him reps at first base. And if it's the only way to get him and Jason Dominguez in the lineup at the same time, then I'm all for that, because I want to get both of them here with Judge and Soto. Like that, if we could put that together, that would be awesome. It would be awesome.
Yeah.
So I do think Pete Alonso should be heading back to the Mets. It's
Yeah.
going to cost more, but oh well.
He's a guy that they definitely need to lock up. If they're gonna, I don't know what their second move would be if they don't. That's something.
I honestly think I could see them signing Corbin Burns before Juan Soto. I could see them signing one of the big free
Burns is a
agent
free agent next year, right?
Burns is the free agent. He's also represented by Scott Boras. So it's going to be expensive.
Yeah.
But, he'll be 10 years younger than Verlander, 10 years younger than Scherzer was when he came here. So, and he's an ace. So,
If
and
I'm the Mets, those are my 2 bullet points next year. I forget about Soto. I go out and I get Alonso and Burns, and I call that a successful. Not coming as like a Yankee fan. If I'm a Mets fan, those are my goals. I'm not looking at Soto. I'm not doing it.
An off season for the Mets. If they can get Burns and re-sign Alonso, that's a heck. And then just put some other pieces together, guys here, role players here. Like that would be a good off season for them. It really, really would. So, CWE, what's good, my man? And again, well, it's exactly Tyler Jimmy. See, Spencer Jones, he did play first base and outfield at Vanderbilt. It's not foreign to him. He's an elite outfielder, yes. He's got an elite speed, yes. He's a better outfielder than a first base, yes. So, which is why he needs some time to get used to playing first base. But we don't really want Spencer Jones here for his defense in the field. We
No.
want to just for his bat.
Yeah.
He's known for his bat. So if he gets better defensively at first base, great. But if he provides the bat, like he had 90 pitches this offseason, did not swing and miss at one pitch. At
That's
one pitch, he didn't miss one pitch, which is crazy.
Yeah.
That's so much better plate discipline. That's one of the things you need to work on this offseason, right? He had a 30% strikeout rate last year. So now, I mean, if you get him down to 20, he has all the makings of a superstar.
Yeah.
So I think that's the next step in his development. Like just like Clark Schmidt, the next step, I think he needs to get out lefties better as well as righties. And like Austin Wells, take his next step too. I do think Austin Wells should be the starter right now, and Trevino should be his backup. But
I
that's just
disagree. I want Trevino starting on opening day.
And Trevino, I mean, would I be upset if Trevino started? No, he's got a better glove. Wells got a better bat, so maybe they can platoon them in an alternating manner. You put Wells in there against the better pitcher. You put, Trevino against the better hitting team to help his defensive prowess. Like there's ways you can do it. Just like Verdugo and DJ would be wise to platoon. Like you lead off one, even if you lead off Verdugo against righties.
No, I think you need to have a consistent leadoff hitter. I think that's something that the Yankees need to have.
I think so too. The only problem is we don't really have a prototypical leadoff hitter. I do think in another year or two, maybe they're going to transition Volpe to the leadoff guy, but I don't think he's ready yet. And we need to see him be more consistent with the bat on the ball and all that stuff. And he's showing improvement this spring, which is great. So I do think, too bad they don't have Luis Arias or somebody like that. That would be nice as a leadoff hitter. But we'll see. They have enough now and things, and I do think they'll still add another bench piece or two.
Mm-hmm. Well, right now, I think from the Yankees side, it's just vibes wise, it's good vibes for sure. Like I don't know if you've seen there's somebody new running their socials, everything, and it's a better look for them. They have all these mic'd up videos. It's exciting. There's definitely that aspect. I think it was last week. I was so excited when the Juan Soto news came out. I didn't even look who we gave up. I saw Michael King. That was it. Just diving into some of the guys we gave up. It was we gave up a lot for that trade. We gave up Burrito. We gave up some of these guys that are valuable pieces. But we also have Luis Hillel coming back this season, which is exciting. That's something that a lot of people are overlooking, which is something I think he's an X factor for the Yankees this year. If he can be the guy that he was before he got injured, that's great.
He was up to 97 yesterday, coming out of the plant.
He was great.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
You're right too. We give up a lot for Soto, Johnny Brito, and all these other guys, but we have pitchers who can, like Luke Weaver, which is why I'm glad they brought him in, because he can be that Mike King role, starter, reliever, and so on and so forth, the kind of swing man, right? And he would make it easier for them to ease Carlos Rodon back and to ease Nestor Cortez back, and make it easier for them to get Will Warren in here and not have to rush him, right? So, I think he'll be a valuable swingman.
Yeah.
So I do think these underrated pieces that the Yankees have brought in, I think, are going to be pretty valuable. And Hill could, Hill could be a closer. Clay Holmes looked pretty good today, though. He's looked pretty good this spring.
Yeah.
So
Clay Holmes has looked good.
If he struggles, maybe they'll look at the deadline for a closer, like a lockdown, like a Devin Williams or something like that. But I don't know. We'll see what they do. So, Yankees will never. See, I don't know about that, Corey. I don't know about that. Everything on the Boomer Cashman.
So much
happened. Cashman got 4 rings. Girardi would not have won that championship in 2009 without Cashman bringing in Sabathia or Teixeira or Burnett or Swisher or Damasomo. Those are all Cashman. They wouldn't have won in 2009 without those guys.
I hate this early already. Come on, it's spring training. Wait a little bit.
Yeah, spring training. And Boone, he had the weakest Yankee roster he's ever had last year. I don't think there was a manager, Joe Torre, Casey Stengel. Nobody would have taken that team to the World Series.
But some of this stuff isn't in Boone's hands. I don't even think Boone gets to do the lineup card a lot of the time. He doesn't have the opportunity to.
Which is why I think, 2 things. I'm glad they brought in Brad Ausmus to complement the bench, right? I'm also glad they brought in Aaron Leinhart. For those that don't know, he's the new analytics guy, but he was also, assistant hitting coordinator for the Yankees, so he has Yankee ties already.
Yeah.
This guy was a doctor from MIT, he was a professor from at the University of Michigan for 5 years, but he also is the only guy who can communicate this analytic stuff to the players and the dugout. Nobody else was able to do that. He can. And he's the guy that Garrett Cole and Aaron Judge said they wanted here, and they brought him here as the right fit to communicate this analytic stuff. You got a lot of smart guys, but if they can't communicate this stuff, it's not going to help the players. Now we have the right guy to do that. So, which could help Boone, could help the other guys
Well,
as
also
well.
having these guys like David Cohn, not David Cohn, excuse me, like Andy Pettit, Derek Jeter around the club more often. That's huge for them, I think, also.
Mm-hmm. And we're right. Cashman, what? Cashman brought in Aaron Leinart, and again, would the Yankees won the World Series in '98 without Scott Brocious and David Wells?
No.
Doubtful. Cashman brought those guys in. Would they won the World Series in '99 without Roger Clemens? Doubtful. Cashman brought him in too. Would they have won the World Series in 2000 without David Justice? Doubtful. Cashman brought him in too. So, these are the moves that are important to give Cashman. If we're going to trash Cashman, we got to give him credit for the moves that he has made that has been successful. It's only fair, right? And I think it's important to have a level-headed approach on this and to look at it from both sides. Because if we're not looking at it from both sides, and Hillel and I do this all the time, looking at both sides, we're not going to have the full story. We're not going to give the full story, and we'll be making uninformed judgments and opinions and decisions. And I don't want to do that.
True.
It's important to give you all as much information as possible so you know the full story. I feel like I'd be cheating you guys if I only give you half the story. If I only gave you the story I wanted you to hear, right? And this is why I give so much information. It's why Hillel gives so much information. It's important to share the full story with you folks. So I understand there's certain people that don't like Cashman. I get it. He's done some questionable stuff, absolutely, as is Boone. But they've also, he's especially Cashman. He's done a lot of good stuff too.
Yeah. And I think this offseason was ultimately a win.
This is probably one of his better off seasons.
Yeah.
Really,
for sure.
They were more strategic this offseason, bringing in the fits and addressing specific needs, and they did a good job. I mean, Hal did some heavy lifting too, and good for both of them. Good for both of them. I'm glad they brought in Brad Ausmus. I'm glad they brought in James Rosen. The infrastructure they've built around this team now has been a heck of a lot better. So as of right now, I think I give the Yankees an A- offseason or an A offseason.
Yeah, same.
So, if he somehow got another starting pitcher who's not delayed by Scott Boras, then I'd go up an A+. But
yeah,
I'm happy with an A. I'm happy riding with the rotation that they have now. So,
I agree.
But that's the take. It was 2-1 game today. The bright spot was Marcus Stroman, right? And a couple other bright spots offensively, which is good. So, again, little by little, the Yankees are putting together their roster. They're putting together their lineup. They're putting together their bullpen, their bench, their rotation. But I'm happy with how the rotation's quietly coming to form.
Yeah.
And, do we need some guys to come around with the bat? Yeah, sure. Judge is one of them. So, like some of the other guys, too. Do I think they will? Yes. Judge has never been a world beater in the spring. Neither has Verdugo, so it's okay. I care more about season. That's what counts.
Yeah, exactly.
What's your take on all that stuff, Hillel? Give us some of your brain.
Well, when it comes to results in spring training, I'd say I wouldn't look at that. It's really just about having a good time, which kind of ties into what I wanted to talk about a little bit. It's our plan for Sunday is really just go in there, have a good time with these players. You don't need to be always going with the hard-hitting questions. It's more I think a little bit of a spoiler. We plan on doing these guess who type of games with the players. It's something they just want to have a good time right now. They're not looking to dive into. They'll slowly start to get into that mode the last week of spring training, but now they're just looking to have a good time, get back into their groove.
Yep. And to CWE's points too, I'm going to use an example here too. Cashman's main reason I won almost 20. COVID season in 2020, where the Dodgers won the World Series, they hadn't won in 30 years. 30. They spend just as much as the Yankees do. Just goes to show that it's not that easy. You can't just bring anybody and be guaranteed a World Series. That's not the way it works. People were under the impression the Mets were going to win the World Series last year because of all the people they brought in. They didn't even make the playoffs. So this is why perspective is important. People can blame Cashman all they want, okay? But it goes beyond Cashman.
Yeah.
Cashman's been overruled by ownership. He's been overruled by Randy Levine and House, some of these other guys. So, and again, not everybody's going to be the right fit here, and not everybody wants to play in New York. So, and that's the other thing too. And there is a, teams have a tendency to ask, especially in trades, more from the Yankees than they do from other teams.
Because they have it.
Yeah, it's just the reality that we've had to deal with. But the Yankees have had a better farm now, probably over the last decade than it's probably ever been. So the Yankees are kind of building their infrastructure to the point now where they can really, really start building a team from within, where they hadn't done before. George Steinbrenner used to trade all the top prospects all the time for big ticket free agents or big ticket trades. He used to do it all the time. So, and that's not taking anything away from him. They won, but their farm was gutted for decades under George Steinbrenner. So, and it's again like the Steinbrenners owned the team from 2000 and 2009. They didn't win the World Series for 9 years. Then blaming the Steinbrenners.
No.
I don't hear anybody blaming the Steinbrenners, right? Strike zone's in the house. People are blaming Cashman. Yeah, it's NFE. Yeah, NFE from the strike zone. I got Hillel from the Rookies Media right here. I don't know if you've met NFE yet. This is Hillel. This is one of our younger, up and coming. This is basically young Ken Rosenthal right here. Okay? Yankee Brain Trust, young Yankee Brain Trust. He's one of the young voices we're going to need to listen to and learn from. So, and Strike Zone NFE is my fellow martial artist, fellow Yankee creator too, and also part of the 161 family. So, we've always had people bashing Cashman, right? It comes with the territory. Cashman goes like this. He brushes it right off, so he doesn't really care. And that's exactly the type of GM that we need, a Teflon guy, bulletproof.
Yeah.
So, and, do we agree on everything Cashman does? No. Do you agree on everything Cashman does?
No, definitely not, but it's...
Of course not. Do we agree? Do we agree with every move that Boone makes? No. You? No. So, it comes with the territory. But again, if we're going to, saying the say the Yankees haven't won a World Series in so long. Again, with the exception of the COVID season, which was an asterisk, there's 60 games. The Dodgers haven't won in 30 years, 32 years actually. So I would take that same logic to the Dodgers too.
Yeah.
So, and they're a big spending team. They get big tickets, and just because they got all these guys this offseason, teams are not going to hand them the World Championship just yet. They're not going to. This is baseball. So, and yeah, well, exactly, Donnie. We all forgot Cashman got a generational player. Cashman and Hal. Give Hal some credit there too. But Cashman knew. The Preller from the Padres asked for 7 players for Soto alone. So, and Cashman, he actually got up out of the winter meetings and left, and got Preller back at the table because he wouldn't give in to that ridiculous demand. So, and he didn't give up Dominguez or Spencer Jones, and we got Juan Soto. So, that's a heck of a trade. Yeah, we give up a lot of pitching, no doubt about it. But we also got Trent Grisham too, and we've also restocked a lot of the pitching since then. So quietly, but we have. And
it's true. There's a lot of there's something that it could be like I don't know how to word it. There's something that I have no clue how to word it, honestly. It's
like this. Yankees are supposed to win. According to fans, where they're supposed to win because they have the big money. You got to say the same thing about the Dodgers. They're supposed to win. Okay? They're not winning World Series either.
If it always goes like that, the sport gets boring.
Yes. It's
It's not
exactly. It's good to have
how it
other teams like the Orioles developing, and this is why, one reason why teams like the Orioles and the Rays can have these really good picks because they sucked for a decade and they had number one picks like 5 years in a row in the draft. When's the last time the Yankees picked number one in the draft? Or even a top 10 pick? It's
Yeah,
been like almost 30 years.
exactly.
Picking the back end of the draft every year. Okay, so these are things that are important to remember too. They don't pick at the top of it. They don't get Jackson Holiday. They don't get Juan DeFranco. Like they just don't get
Yeah.
these types of things. And it's just the way that it is. And the Yankees still do a pretty good job. And yeah, Drew Thorpe. The thing with Drew Thorpe too, Demox Matt, is that he was rated. I know a lot of folks are upset when you trade him to the Padres, right? But could have been. But he was also ranked below Will Warren, Chase Hampton, and Peyton Beater. He was also rated below these guys. So there's a reason why they could afford to move Drew Thorpe because of that. They had three guys rated above him, and now they still have guys like Henry Lalani, guys coming up the system that could easily replace Drew Thorpe. So the Yankees are in a good spot right now, a better spot than they've been in at least a decade. So I'm happy about that. And again, like we don't have to worry about big contracts all the time. You don't have to give Corbin Burns $30 million a year and Dylan Cease half the farm because we have a guy like Chase Hampton who could probably be as good as Dylan Cease is next year. Yeah. So we have some other guys, and I think it's important to keep in mind. So it's hardly well, he was rated below the guys that the Yankees are going to give chances to: Warren, Beater, and Chase Hampton. Don't be surprised if you see Beater and Warren this year. They're most likely going to be. I think Chase Hampton 2025. He's still in Double-A, Chase Hampton. So this is the first time the Yankees have had pitchers at that level in a long time. And Drew Thorpe was rated below these guys. Now they're in a position to give these young guys chances, which is why they're not giving the farm for Dylan Cease and giving the farm for Corbin Burns because they have guys like this who they want to bring up. And this is a way of complementing a lot of these expensive contracts with some inexpensive young kids.
Yeah.
So that's a way of balancing the payroll. So I know I want my backdrop too to be. I want to have a swimming pool in my back like Hillel does. I have a shovel behind me.
So nice.
No pool, so it's fantastic. I'm jealous, but that's fantastic. You know what I mean? It's I understand some fans' frustration right now about the spraying and nobody's lighting them. We don't need them to light the world on fire right now.
Yeah, exactly.
I think Hampton will be AAA. I think Spencer Jones will be at AAA too this year too.
Yeah.
And at some point, but they still have to develop before they come up here. Otherwise, they would be lit up if they were up here not ready for it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's smart, and all you need safe situation. All you need is some hot babes out there working on it. You'll have some babes behind them. Funny, but yeah, I agree. Will Warren will be up this season. Again, I think it'll probably be May or June. They don't have to. He threw 120 innings last year. They don't need him to throw 180. That's why Luke Weaver's there.
Yeah.
So they can throw 120, 130 at a major league level. That's a pretty good step up from 120 innings in AAA.
Yep.
So ease him in. He's a very highly rated prospect. So is Chase Hampton. And Chase Hampton has the highest ceiling of all these Yankees prospects. He's the one that's being compared to Garrett Cole. So, and I don't remember the last time we've had a pitcher that highly touted. Warren and Hampton. I can't remember. Yeah. And he had it. Maybe.
There definitely is a lot of potential in the Yankees farm system right now. My voice is going out quickly, so I'm gonna have to hop off soon because just gotta enjoy, relax. But yeah, final point I think is the Yankees definitely have that potential when it comes into their specifically pitching prospects. They have a lot of potential there, and I want to see them use it this season for sure. I'm sure everyone does. But yeah, Jason, thank you so much for having me on. I know Eddie we missed him by a couple of minutes, but we'll for sure get him sometime. Maybe after we're down in spring training, we'll definitely both hop on and chat with you. But thank you so much for having me on.
Thanks for having me, Hank. Thanks for coming on. Hello. Make sure you guys check out Backstage Media. Make sure you guys check out the Rookies Media as well.
Thank you. Yeah.
Young and up-and-coming YouTubers. Great baseball content. Love having these guys on. We'll say hi to Eddie, and we'll have you guys on next time.
Yeah, for sure. We'll be down Mets March 10th this Sunday. If anyone's going to be there, definitely hit us up. And yeah, definitely look forward to hopping on Rookies Media. See you guys.
All right, guys. See you, buddy. So that's the post game. The Yankees drop it 2-1. Okay. And I want to thank Hillel for coming on. I always like to support the young kids. Okay. They do a good job. They work hard. They're out in spring training right now. Okay. He got a credential to go out in spring training. Okay. That's pretty cool. So, and it's an opportunity that these kids can't pass up on. So, and he's got some good baseball content. And Eddie's got some good Mets content. So they're doing it right. And yeah, let the kids play, let the kids grow. And I want to support these young kids. I mean, he was a loyal member of the 161 family for a couple of years, and I want to help him out in any way possible. And I think it's important to help each other out, help family out, But yeah, I want to thank you all for coming on, spending some time with me. Post games, wrap up the post game. But again, bright spot, 4 no-hit innings for Marcus Stroman, taking the next step in his preparations for the season. So that's fantastic. Look out for the rest of these guys. I do think the Yankees are going to make another move or two before the season starts. Probably a trade for a bench bat, maybe a signing for a bench bat. Keep an eye on a couple guys. I'll keep you updated on Oswald Peraza too. They sent him for an MRI. For those of you that haven't heard, Joey Votto signed with the Blue Jays today, so he's going back home. He's from Toronto, Canada. So, but have a great day, everybody. Appreciate you all coming on. Peace and love, gang. And so Donovan Solano is a veteran bat. Before I go, Will Myers, Brandon Belt's out there. Okay. But the guys like they brought in too, Jordan Groshans now, it's 24. You got Jelani Jones too. A couple of these other guys that are in spring training right now, they might occupy one of these bats, but they're looking for somebody who could be an upgrade over Oswaldo Cabrera at the utility spot. And they said that today at the game. So, who? I don't know. Stay tuned, gang, and I'll keep you updated when that happens. So have a good day, everybody. I'll see y'all next time.